A popular cam girl has been booted off My Free Cams after she made nearly $30,000 in tips posing as a Nazi leader. Now, her name is Sunny Olivia. We have a picture of her dressed the way that she was dressed during this performance. And people were pretty outraged about it. What's incredible is a lot of people actually loved it, which is why she made $30,000 off this one live stream. But according to My Free Cam's Twitter account, Olivia won Miss My Free Cams for June 2015, a coveted distinction that underscores her popularity among fans. Her performance reportedly brought in several thousand viewers, with at least 3,300 on at the same time at one point of the show. Now, that was before. Now the issue is that she did this whole Nazi getup, and My Free Cams decided, you know what, we don't really want to be associated with people like this, so we're getting rid of her. That led to some backlash among her fans, but also a lot of praise among other cam girls who do their thing on this particular platform, right? So a lot of the women were upset. They're like, look, we don't want to be part of any type of website that allows this kind of behavior or this type of action. Sunny Olivia is arguing that this is a free speech issue, but it's not. My Free Cams is a private company and they get to do whatever they want, yes, especially when it comes to their image. And this doesn't do great things for their image.
The question is why didn't you, first of all, two things. My Free Cam, is that a sexual site?
They're cam girls. Yeah.
They can't get naked.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
then. I know
I
of
imagine
other.
that's what the men are paying 33.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect. Just making sure. Well, the second thing is, why didn't My Cam Free? What is it?
My Free Cam.
My Free Cam. Why didn't they shut that down in the moment? You know what I mean? It's like, this is what gets me back to that story about Subway and everything else. When in the moment, there's somebody always monitoring those things. I've had somebody who works for a company called Cam4 that's all sexual, and he says that there's a team that monitors them constantly. So they're monitoring the activity, they're monitoring the videos, they're monitoring the donations, they're doing all of that. So somebody was there watching and said, oh, this is funny, this is great. And then all of a sudden, someone else said, oh, no, we don't want to be a part of this. You know, like, what happened in that moment? Go ahead.
No, I'm with you that you wonder how it didn't just get him, just pull the plug on
Pull
that.
the plug right then and there.
You know, sort of immediately. It's like, this is not something we want to be associated with. Who knows? Maybe it was some like minion of the organization who's watching all these videos, doesn't feel like they have the authority, and then it runs up the chain to the president. And then they're like, absolutely, we do not want to be associated with this. So I guess I'm kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt, because I appreciate that they did pull the proverbial plug, you know, later, and that there are other cam girls who are, you know, voicing their dissent for this woman's performance.
Also, when it comes to one of the big wigs on this platform, it's not easy to kind of pull the plug, right? So I actually applaud them for pulling the plug relatively quickly, because it would be one thing if like a month goes by and people are outraged still and they're like, okay, fine. But you know, as soon as they got some backlash, they're like, yeah, this isn't okay.
But it's sad because it was popular.
It was
very popular. That's the next thing.
You know, they had to basically make that decision about, this is Miss Free Cam, you know, July or June 2015 or whatever, and we're going to have to make this decision to cut it off because morally it's repugnant. But then people are into it. I mean, the conflating Nazi ideology and sexuality, and people who get off on that, it's really beyond me. Like,
so do you think that the men who got off on that actually were getting off on the fact that she was in Nazi gear, or the fact that she was playing a very dominant woman and she was probably doing this sort of submissive,
it could be both. I mean, she was
because
spouting anti-Semitic propaganda and stuff like that. And are there anti-Semitic people out there that get turned on by that? Sure. But there is also like the dominant female fetish. And so I'm sure some people were into that as well.
Right.
But regardless, it was beyond offensive. And look, just because I disagree with it doesn't mean that they should pull the plug on it. But if a company doesn't like the message that it sends, they have the right to pull the plug. If she has her own live streaming service that she is taking care of herself, she is able to do this. Okay, the government can't come in and tell her this isn't allowed. Okay, we have free speech rights here, and she's able to do it without government intervention. But in this case, a private company can make the decision, and I think they made the right decision.
I wouldn't be surprised if she went ahead and started this for her own site.
I mean, it's very lucrative, unfortunately.
Does she know anything about the Holocaust? I mean, I'm like, if you even had the faintest idea. The faintest. 6 million people died.
I know. It's
How
disgusting.
can you possibly consider this any sort of performative art or just like, you know, you're just trying to make a couple bucks off of some, you know, porn? It's disturbing.
One other thing I want to add, and this isn't to, you know, dismiss the offensive nature of what she's doing, but there are people who get very turned on by anything taboo, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they believe in that or that they want that. So there's a huge genre of rape porn out there, and it doesn't mean that people who watch it are rapists or that they want to rape, but they get really turned on by something that society tells them is taboo. And so there could be that component of it as well. So I don't want to, you know, completely tear everyone apart if they watch this and they got turned on by it. Human sexuality is a very, very complicated thing. But still, this is disgusting. And to know that people are willing to pay money to see it is unfortunate.
If you can only get it up to Heil Hitler, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, just consider working through some of those issues.
Exactly. So we do want you guys to chime in on this topic, and we have a poll on our TYT app. We asked popular webcam model Sunny Olivia had her show shut down for dressing in Nazi uniform. Is this a free speech issue, or did she go too far? 31% of you believe that she did go too far, and 69% of you believe it's a freedom of speech issue. Again, I feel like this poll is a little misleading because it's not a free speech issue.
It's
because you said it's a private
company. But that's the way you guys feel about it. You believe that it should have remained. But it's just the beginning of the polling, so go ahead and chime in if you haven't voted yet. Okay?
I mean, one small thing on this. Also, Anna, because you were saying people have their weird sexual tendencies.
Yeah.
Also, though, there's probably tons of people here that were on that don't like the message, but there's this weird thing people have with, oh, I hate her, and it's a sexual thing. And not that they actually like the message that she was portraying or any of that stuff, but, oh, I hate her so
They were
hard.
hate watching.
Yeah, I mean, or hate lusting, whatever it is that happens. People say, oh, I hate that chick so much, and then they're all about whatever it is that they're doing.
And it could also be clicks. You know, I didn't even think about that. You brought up a really great point because I've been on those sites, and if you just click, you know, you now are one of the viewers, and even if you click right off, that plays into her numbers going up. So, you know,
the views are one thing, but the money that she made is another. $3,300 off doing
I mean, if she was just trying to be sensationalist, this is a low blow.
How much again?
$3,300. She makes $1,000 per performance, by the way.
And you know what? I'm all like the tweet earlier. You know, if you're a sex worker, you work in the sex industry or whatever, and you're doing it within your rights and you're safe, more power to you. That is your path. Like, do you? But you know, obviously, I have some skin in the game here where I'm Jewish, and so this is truly offensive to me and to every single Holocaust survivor that I've ever met who lived through absolute hell. So I don't really have any time. Sunny Olivia, you ain't so sunny.
At all.